Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is when you're watching this video, but right now it's getting close to noon here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I am doing my answer video. You already knew that. You cheated. You read the title. I haven't even created the title yet. So, friends, pitter patter, let's get at her. I've promised this for 2 weeks, but I was hoping more questions would come forward. However, we're at it now. Let's do it now and get it over with. I'll do another Q&A down the road, my friends. So, let's start with the first question. Shout out to Logya. You were the first commenter, but you didn't ask any questions. You just said you hope my son gets well, and he is. So the first question came from David Pinto, my Florida watcher. I have a few people in Florida. Hey Gord, have you ever been to Florida? I've never been to Canada. I want to come up there. So I answered him that I'd never been to Florida. Then I realized, oh shit, this is my answer vid. That was my question video. No answer should be on it. So I promised I would expand. As far, have I been to Florida? No. But I've been to a lot of the US. All the way from when I was young, we used to travel into Washington quite often. And then later in life, we went down to Colorado and Montana. Then in my work, I worked in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've spent a lot of time working in Chicago, spent some time working in Detroit. Been into New York State once, but never been to New York City. I've been through a bit of Texas just because my planes got rerouted, but I don't think airports count. So that's my U.S. Side. And now I don't know if I'll ever go back to the U.S. No offense, I love the U.S. and I love all you people down there. I don't love your border patrol. Now that we have legal marijuana here, they seem to hassle a fair amount of people. Ain't gonna do it. Like George Bush and broccoli just ain't gonna do it. So, let's move on. Dave, thank you for the question. Next question came from Humorous Giant. Hey, first of all, love your emoticon. Love your name. Hey, Gord, had a question I've always wondered. Did you ever take cannabis before medicinal purposes? Did you ever smoke it with your friends as a teenager, or has it always been medicinal for yourself? That's a great question, and I love answering these kind of questions. First of all, I will say I started smoking cannabis at 11 years old. So then was it medicinal? Absolutely not. It was peer pressure. I do not suggest anyone ever start taking something that early. I think, in fact, I really, really, truly believe that until we know better, to err on the side of safety, I would suggest not touching cannabis until you're an adult, until your brain's fairly fully developed. We may find that things like CBD actually help your brain develop better. And who knows, 10, 15 years from now, if I'm still here, I might be saying, hey, you kids, try that. But right now I'm saying, wasn't really for me. But you know what? I really enjoyed it. It helped me through my teenage years. There's a lot of teenage angst, and I'm glad I had it because I tried a bunch of other stuff that I should have never tried, and I kept going back to pot. It was safer, it was cleaner, it was healthier. And I did notice from a very young age that when I was high, the pains, I've always lived a life in pain. The pains I would get in my legs would go away. The sore stomach that I almost always had would go away. I didn't really know it was the cannabis doing it. I just know I felt better while I was on it. later in life, there was many times, sometimes I'd quit cannabis for, even a year or two just to move away from it. And it was about 15 years ago when I quit drinking for good, and I've never looked back. When I quit drinking, I went straight back to cannabis, and that was my first real medicinal move. That was me going to cannabis to help me stay off of alcohol, and it worked. And slowly but surely over then, I've been using it medicinally ever since. It wasn't until 5-6 years ago that I really started to study the medicinal side of it and how well it works. I have changed the way I've medicated over the years through the education I've gotten. I would say I am now pretty well a 1-to-1 CBD THC guy. Even 5 years ago, I knew very little about CBD. Now I'm a person who takes maybe even more CBD during a day than I do THC. Yesterday, I never even touched THC until 5 or 6 o'clock at night. But throughout the day, I took my CBD in the morning. I'm more CBD driven. I'm more medicinally driven. Because the high, although I enjoy it late in the evening to just relax and let the day go, during the day, I don't want that high. I just don't want it. So thanks, Humorous Giant. I hope that answered your question. The next question, a big one from Wayne Wilberforce. And Wayne, I want to thank you. You are one of my heaviest commentators. You have some great comments. I love reading your stuff. I love answering it. This one, even better view when the sun is coming up. Wow, nice morning session. Let's see, where can you send me the link to a video? I'm looking for the question. And what do you take in the whole day from when you wake up till you go to bed in CBD and marijuana? Actually asking for my daily intake. And that's why I kind of backed off of the answering Humorous Giant too deeply, because where am I now? I wake up in the morning. This is my routine, and I do change it a little bit, but I wake up in the morning and I take a 10 milligram CBD pill. And then I start the coffee pot, and then I do some swishing. This is still medicinal, swishing, oil pulling with coconut oil, virgin coconut oil. Swish that around my mouth for 15 minutes, spit it out, brush my teeth. Go usually and have a small dab, a small micro dab of Rich Blessing, CBD high shatter that has some THC, but the CBD overacts the THC. And that's about it until a little later in the morning. If I'm feeling mouth pain, that's a regular occurrence with me, I will take a little bit of Pura Vida tincture, CBD, to just help my mouth out a bit and help my nerves. That'll take me till noon. Usually noon, I've been up for 6 hours, 7 hours. I need a nap. So I go lay down. It takes me about an hour to fall asleep. I get about 45 minutes of sleep, then 15 minutes to get up. I'm up at 2. Then I've got to get ready to go see my son. So I take my second CBD pill. And I only take 2 a day, so I take my second one when I get up then, usually. And I have nothing else. I go get my son, I go for a nice long walk, I bring him back, we spend a couple hours together, then he goes home. Once he goes home, that's when my dab machine comes out. I used to, at that time, 5 o'clock, take a 100 milligram THC pill. I've quit doing that because of the expense. It was real handy I just almost never felt pain at night. Now I'm back to feeling pain at night, and I take my THC accordingly. Sometimes I'll roll a joint, not very often, but most of the time I will mix some Charlotte's Web or something really high in CBD with something very high in THC to just get me calmed down for the evening and prepared for bed. Then just before bed, I take a dab of pure CBD. That is brand new, just started last week. I hope to keep my supply of that dabbable CBD because it is the mix of Charlotte's Web and that dabbable CBD at night that has got me back to sleeping fairly well. Fairly well. So there you go, Wayne. There's your answer to that. John Goodwin. I'm not sure if you mentioned this in a previous video, but what do you like to do in your free time? Just wondering, brother. Peace. My free time. Life is free time. I'm on disability. I have free time from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, and it's usually twiddling my thumbs. Now, I spend a fair amount of time watching other videos. I try to stay away from the cannabis videos. I love all you guys. I know some of you make videos, and I do see them from time to time. But mostly I want to escape. I want to not think about the troubles and issues that, Dave is always in my mind. And rather than telling him to F off all the time, sometimes I just get busy in videos. Lately, I've been watching a thing called The Vet Ranch. A veterinarian who's also really big on guns. He's got Demolition Ranch is also his show. And I've really been enjoying that. And I marathon TV shows. I mean, it's called boredom. I'd like to get back into photography. I spent about 5 years I've been a photographer all my life, but I spent 5 years just before my divorce really in-depthly working photography, making pictures, mounting them, going to shows and selling them, going to craft shows and stuff like that. I miss that, and I'd like to get out and do that again. But I was a wildlife and scenery photographer, and you need a vehicle for that. I don't have that. So what am I going to do most of the winter? I'm hoping I'm getting my camera cleaned up. See, here's my A77 Sony. It's a beautiful, beautiful camera. I'm getting it cleaned up, and I'm going to probably go out and learn something new I can do with my photography that will keep me busy, and who knows, maybe bring a buck or two in. So, John, there's your answer. What do I do with my free time? I try to live through it. I know most of you that work all day would say, man, what I would give to give that kind of free time. And you know what? I worked huge. I used to work 16 hours a day. And I was on call all night for probably the last 10 to 15 years of my career. And I always said, man, would I love some free time, some time to myself. Careful what you ask for. Usually you end up getting it and then wishing you hadn't. I don't need this much free time. I need more stuff to do. I need more hobbies. Retirement is not an easy thing, and it puts some people away. It's not going to put me away. I have a very busy day. My last half of the day, Monday through Friday, is always with my little boy, and weekends are almost always with my little boy, so I still keep busy. Deb Olson, shout out. You didn't ask a question, but you did comment, so hey, shout out to you. And Joey, PhD in THC, thank you for at least for being there. Patrick, you didn't give me a question, but you asked me so much stuff. You know me so well. Patrick Wagner asked, what's your favorite movie of all time? And that one is a pretty easy one. The Holy Grail, Monty Python. I have watched it maybe 100 times, maybe more. I watch it with my kids. I watch it with friends. I get high and watch it and laugh my head off. And I always see something new in it. I always go, oh, that's what he meant by that. Or that's what he was saying, because they're silly accents. Silly accents. So that's my favorite movie of all time. I also really like Reservoir Dogs. Very difficult show to watch, but really raw and wonderful. Clifford Burchfield, Sasquatch love to you, man. What my thoughts on cannabis as being an enhancement for sports, or even in my case, hunting or bushcraft? That's an interesting question. That's a good question. And I have no expertise in this, but I would say it's going to be, does it improve your ability to do sports, to run, to see, to, hard to say. Is it an enhancement or is it a medical thing? If it's improving your ability to do your sport, it's an enhancement. But is it doing that by getting rid of pain? Then it's just medical. When you have a headache and you take a pill and your headache goes away, you aren't enhancing your brain. You're bringing it back to status quo. And that's mostly what CBD or THC does, is puts your body at more of a homeostasis, keeps it more level and more accurate as to the way it should work. So this is opinion only. I do not think it's a performance enhancing drug. I think it's a body mellowing drug that makes you better able to be yourself. I think that's all I can say. And Mad Goat, huge thanks for letting me, for pointing out Shotcut to me. A new video editor makes me able to do better for all of you guys. He asked, what is your favorite strain that got away, or that one you can't get anymore? And I gotta say it's Purple Ice. Purple Ice. Its parents were Granddaddy Purple and something else I don't remember, but Purple Ice. I enjoyed it so much. It tasted like you were eating a really sweet grape, and it just calmed my body down. And I get really bad pain in my shoulders from my arthritis and my cervical disc degenerative disease. I shouldn't ever reach like that, boy. And it helped me so much. And it was high in CBD, 2 or 3% CBD. So it would calm me. It would give me good body high, good body warmth, while cutting the peaks of that THC high. It was a beautiful strain. It got away. I haven't found it again. My new favorite is Charlotte's Web, and this company tells me they're going to be getting more of it. They still have it online, so yay, 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 yay. I'm really starting to drift into that CBD world. Friends, that was all the questions. I want to thank you all. Whether you put a question down or not, you're watching my videos. You touch my heart. I try to touch yours too. Peace and cheers, friends. Love and harmony. I hope this was worth the watch. I guess I'll find out in the comments later. If you find someone without a smile today, please give them that beautiful smile you have. I know you have more. I've seen it. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.